Their biggest problem was catching the cars ahead, losing time sitting in dust. They won the classic category by a clear 10 minutes, although overall they were placed 18th.
Unfortunately, Jonathan had had that problem today. I think it would have been a very good fight between us. Jonathan had the problem in the Safari as well, so hopefully next time out we can both have a clean run.
On the classic car cup board, Aslam Khan extends his leading margin over Samira by 10 points, but Rob Hellier could be the dark horse with 3 rounds remaining. The race for the two-wheel drive honours was anticipated to be a tense battle amongst the strong entry of 11 cars, but for most, reaching the end of the first 78-kilometre stage was a control too far. 7 of the 11 dropped out, including Khalid Yusuf and Absalom Aswani, who were the early leaders by a clear 5 minutes before the oil pressure dropped to nothing, forcing them to stop before blowing the engine. Leonardo Vares and Kigondo Karevi had a misfire from the start and out of frustration took a medium right too quickly, damaging the rear diff.
We went too fast on a medium right and we hit the back of the car and we broke the rear disc and spoiled one of the bearings, wheel bearings.
Gurmit Tethi and Dipinder Khalsi were also forced to throw in the towel when the clutch began to slip and the fuel pump electrics kept burning up.
We had 4 stops because every time we would get going, then we would see smoke coming from the dash and everywhere. So I think I need to have a sacrificial something on this car because the moment I start feeling I'm doing good, it always cocks up on me.
It was a bad day for the VW Golfs as one after the other, they retired. This is Rajbir Rai and Supi Soin driving to reach service after losing compression in one of the cylinders.
We made it all the way back to service and then just as we were getting in I noticed there's a thick black smoke coming out of the exhaust and that was it.
The only Golf to make it to the end was in the hands of Dennis Mwenda and Edward Joroge, but even they were counting themselves lucky after they went off twice and nearly rolled. They then backed off and got to the finish in 3rd. Sammy and Stephen Nyori were driving their Vitz so quickly that they held the lead for a short time, which only served to make them go faster. The consequence was that they put it on its side. But they patched it up and continued where they'd left off and eventually finished 4th. Patrick Kibara and Julius Mochuya were forced to drive more by the temperature gauge than the speedo, keeping the engine just under the red. It worked, and although they weren't at their quickest, the pace was good enough for 2nd.
We are just keeping our hope alive for the championship. Yep.
After the dust had settled following all the dropouts, Nadim Khan and James Mwangi found themselves in the lead at the end of stage 3 and combined with claiming 3 stage wins, held it to the end to take the category victory by 4 minutes, getting swamped by the fans at the final control. This was Nadim and James's 3rd win of the season, but being on home ground, it was by far the most important.
Wow, that's my home ground, man. I loved it. And I hope to stay with the championship as from today.
The win extends Nadim's lead in the championship to over 80 points. Patrick Ibarra moves from 3rd to 2nd and is the only one who can now realistically threaten Nadim for the trophy. A large proportion of the entry were in non-homologated cars competing for the Group S title, where the competition was an equal match between some very hot machinery. For many, it was a case of win or bust trying. This is Hussein Malik and Stephen Jenga, who were hoping to secure their first win in the class, but when they took a max left at max, they put the car on its roof and couldn't continue.
It's sandy, yeah? It's quite tricky because the car keeps pulling from the back. Once it goes off,
pulls you out, and that's what happened to us. We got caught out on one of the max left. We got caught out.
Joel Mushiri and Nehrin Ismail also went off, but theirs was more by bad luck. Not realizing they'd bent a stabilizer bar, the car got dragged into a tree on the medium left. They lost nearly 40 minutes but got to the finish, albeit at the bottom of the leaderboard. Others just fell foul of mechanical failure, which is always a risk of the sport, as Karim Shiraz and Shamir Yusuf found out.
My right arm on the rear. I thought it broke because the stabilizer link was out. I tried to brake, hit the bank. The right tire rear bust, and I flipped. There was this bank that we came down. I hit the bank. Car came. We just went up and then back down like this.
Harpreet Sagu and Harvinder Danjal couldn't believe their bad luck when they arrived at the final control only to get stuck in the soft sand. Fortunately, there was lots of help on hand, and they eventually got out without losing any time. With so many having problems, those still going were counting their fortunes, including Fahaz Khan and Kavit Dave, who were having their first outing behind the wheel of a recently acquired N10. It was more a learning exercise than anything else, and fifth in Group S was a good start.
No problems, just we're getting used to the car. We forgot to switch the diffs on and everything, so we were going back, people were catching us, we were wondering why. Yeah, I'm John, Mombasa.
The Shamba boys, Mahesh and Ketan Halai, put in their usual strong performance, setting a consistent and comfortable pace that saw them clinch fourth, collecting more of those valuable championship points. The leading three in Group S were all evenly matched, swapping places on the leaderboard.